What's up, everyone? Joe Gray here today with another AMA warm up where I get to talk to our upcoming AMA guests. Today I'm joined by Matt from Ironmaster. Matt, how's it going, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. Yeah. How are you?
Good, very good. It's not too cold today. I always have to caveat that with California cold
Yeah.
because my cold is quite a bit different than everybody else's cold. But sun's shining. I'm feeling good. Ready for a good chat on some Ironmaster stuff. Um,
Great. Yeah. Well, it's a little foggy and cold here up in the Seattle area, but it's typical for this time of year. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Cool. All right, so we hop right in. First question is, who are you? Why are you here?
sure. Well, I'm Matt Dawson. I'm the owner and president of Ironmaster. Ironmaster, for those who don't know us, we're a fitness equipment company. We make home gym equipment. We have for more than 40 years. The company originally was founded by my father, Fred, and back in the late 70s. And his concept was, I want to make fitness equipment for, um, for home gym users. And back then, there wasn't nearly as many home gym users
Yeah,
as there are today. And but so that was his passion. He actually owned a gym. He opened up a gym and outfitted it himself and ended up building some equipment himself to because he was doing it on a shoestring budget. He was a police officer and he
sure.
wanted they didn't have a gym at the police station
Uh,
and but he had a lot of buddies on the force that he worked with that he thought he could rope in to become members of his gym. So he said, "Hey, I'm going to open this gym." It was in a strip mall in Northern California. And and then he went and bought a few pieces of equipment, from classified ads and then he needed more things. And so he decided to build some benches from scratch, in the garage. So he went and bought like, a chop saw and a Lincoln stick welder and decided to just figure out how to fabricate some equipment and
yeah.
on his own. And so I remember that when I was a kid, he was out there making things, and I didn't quite fully understand it back then, but and but I got to spend time in the gym hanging out, for daycare purposes, and I saw the gym from when I was pretty young, and so he ended up hearing about a machine that he wanted to get for the gym, which was a Smith machine.
Yeah,
And back then it had just been invented, and that concept. But he couldn't find one that was reasonable and that he could afford. So he decided he was going to build his own and try to make something that would do the same thing. So he built a couple of prototypes, and he was really trying to build it for the gym. Um, and and when he did, he finally made something that he liked, and it was kind of like the precursor to our current like IM 2000
yeah,
machine, the self-spotting machine. And a lot of the members and friends of his were like, "Hey, this is awesome! Like if I you ever think about, could you make one for me so I can have it at home?" And he was like, "What? That's not what he had in mind, as far as making equipment to
yeah,
sell, but it kind of gave him a spark of an idea, right? So he said, well, gosh, maybe he started thinking about it that I mean, he and I talked about it when I was a teenager, is that, there's a lot more gyms in America as home gyms than there are commercial gyms. And so it seems to me like the market would be pretty good if I kind of made equipment that people could put at home instead of trying to make commercial stuff. So
yeah.
he decided to just focus on that. And so that's the history. But long story short is, ever since then, I worked with them for a long time when I was going to college and after college, and then I left and did some other business adventures, sales and marketing. But I got a chance to take the company over again, and run it myself when he wanted to retire. He had he was kind of a serial entrepreneur, right? So he started Ironmaster. Um, I actually named it, but he started called it Spartan Manufacturing, but I changed it.
Yeah,
That it needed a better name. And so we coined that and got that trademarked, gosh, when I was, in the 80s, right?
yeah.
And so then I left and then I came back and took over the business and started running it about 21 years ago. And it's been a lot of fun because I'm still running the business and operating it with the same focus as the original concept that my father came up with, which was to build, strength training equipment for home gym use, making, unique designs and proprietary designs so that we're not like a cookie cutter company that just does
Sure.
the same thing everybody else does. And, make stuff that's kind of like, it's not commercial grade, but it's high end, home
Yeah.
equipment. So it'll last, and long enough you can pass it down to your kids. So that's what Ironmaster does, and that's what I do.
Fantastic. Where out in Northern California?
That was in San Jose.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And so that's where I grew up, and until I moved up to the Pacific Northwest.
There you go. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, California is like 12, 13 hours from top to bottom. So Northern California is like it's not like this, it's like this.
Yeah, it's funny when you say Northern California, that includes the Bay Area, right?
Yep. Yep.
But there's technically a lot more north of there,
Yep.
but that's just where the population center is in
Yeah.
Northern California. So yeah,
Yeah. I live just north of Sacramento, and then there's another 5-ish hours north of me, and I'm 2 hours north of the bay, which is yeah. So, yeah, it gets crazy. Um, that's cool. That's a great story. So you talked a little bit about how you grew up in the gym. What does your lifting look like? What did it look like? What does it look like now? That kind of stuff.
I got introduced to weight training, by my dad, like I said, and so I would spend time. I wasn't really lifting until I was, my early teens, but then I got some hands-on experience from the old man, and he was never a competitive lifter, but he just did it for his own health and fitness,
Sure.
and uh, I got to be honest, he wanted to be like a badass looking cop who was look strong, and it
Sure.
would intimidate people. So
Yep.
I think that was part of his motivation. But
Yep.
so I always thought that was really cool. I wanted to be like dad, and so I wanted to start training too. So I got some advice on how to get started into weight training. So I did it in our private, home gym. There was a gym at the Ironmaster small factory we used to have, and so I would train there. And then during high school, I had I wanted to continue doing that, and but it wasn't like anything super serious. I just felt like if I can develop some muscle, I can change my body and look stronger, and I would just feel better about myself, right?
Yep.
So I kept doing that. I had some buddies in high school who knew that I was working at Ironmaster, on the weekends and on the summers and all that even during high school. And they said, hey, I need some stuff, can you help me out? And so I actually built some custom pieces for my buddies. And
Nice.
uh, and then I had a good friend of mine that lived around the corner, and so we outfitted he had like a really nice garage that wasn't full of stuff, right? And so we actually I put some of my stuff in his garage and built him a new just a Olympic weight bench, and then we went over there and trained, so we would train like 4 days a week, and this is in San Jose. And yeah, so we would just do that, all through college, and it was a lot of fun. Um, and we'd always try to set some new goals and see, if we can push each other. And we tried everything, we tried to get really hyped, and try to hype each other up and push each other to see if you can get a new PR on the bench press or
Yep.
on the lift. And so anyway, my lifting experience has all been that way. I'm 58 now, and I still train, 3 or 4 days a week. Do that at my home gym here or at the Ironmaster headquarters. We have a nice gym for all the employees to use, and but I slayed out some time. I have my best buddy right now. He like you know he has flexibility during the day, so a lot of times he'll come over at like 3:30 after I can get all my office work done. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we'll train together. And we've been doing
Nice.
that for like about 20 years now.
Wow.
And yeah, and he actually kind of hit me up about 20 years ago, wanted to know if I could introduce him to doing some weight training because he had been diagnosed with celiac
Mm-hmm.
and so gluten problems, right? And
Yep.
but he was losing a lot of body mass
Yep.
and his bone density was really going down, right? And so
Yep.
he was trying to figure, his doctors told him, hey, one of the best things you can do to help, once you correct your diet and avoid gluten and all that is you can start training
Yep.
and you start with resistance,
Yep.
and the more you can load your skeletal structure, the better. And plus, it's good for you anyway, right? So he
Yep.
said, "Can you help me give me some ideas?" And I was like, "Well, you should come over and train with me." So we did that, and we haven't stopped. So
Fantastic.
yeah, and so we're still going strong, and he's in a lot better shape now. So it's been fun.
That's awesome. I think the next couple of questions are going to bleed together a little bit, but that's okay. So we're going to talk about like why the home gym community. So what's you talked about you wanted your dad wanted to make equipment for home gyms as opposed to commercial gyms. So what's your experience with the home gym community? Why only the home gym? Because I don't think you make anything that's really meant for a commercial gym, right? So
Yeah,
talk
that's
about
true. Yeah.
that.
Sure. Well, all of our products are made for home gym use, and I think that I like, um, I don't know. I'm, I've always liked the concept of being able to have your own personal gym. Maybe, I mean, I've trained at lots of big gyms.
Sure.
I travel, or I used to even have a membership. Like Gold's Gym,
Yep.
locally, just because they had some interesting things there. I wanted to use the pool, and and it's kind of fun to be in that environment where there's a lot of
Yep.
other people that are like-minded, right? They're all
Yep.
there to get in shape, and I like that. But I found it to be you know, because I have other options. I had my own equipment I can train on. Plus, I bought other things too, ropes and medicine balls and all
Yep.
that. But I found that it was really frustrating trying to go to a commercial gym. Sometimes it was the time it takes back and forth to drive there, or the equipment that you want to use, you have a routine all written out, and you're like, this is I'm gonna knock this out in like 45 minutes. I got to get back to work after this, right?
Yeah.
You show up and there's some dude on the bench, just monopolizing everything,
Yep.
or someone's not putting the weights back and you can't find the 35-pound dumbbells and you're like, God, this is really annoying, because you're having to share all this stuff and be in this public environment. And I was like, man, when if you have all the stuff you need at home, it's so much more efficient. It's so much better to be able to train without having any
Yep.
interruptions and no restrictions. So, I mean, if you try to, not everybody can fit a 45-degree leg press machine in their home,
Yep.
but there's ways you can work around it, and you can maybe have 80% of the capability of a commercial gym at
Mm-hmm.
home. For most people, if you're willing to make some investments and buy some good gear, right? So,
Yep.
I really feel like for me that was really important to not limit myself to how I want to train and when I want to train, and also, um, I had, when I started having kids too, in my 30s, I was like, okay, now I don't have as much time to leave the house,
Yep.
but I can squeeze in a workout at 6:30 in the morning,
Yep.
and not have, or whenever it is, and not have to find a daycare,
Yep.
and anyway, so just so many good reasons to have a home gym if you can pull it off. But I also realized that not everybody has a lot of space for that. And so I said, one of my philosophies is to continue making equipment that doesn't, have massive footprints, and
Yep.
that it is flexible and it's light enough weight sometimes where you can, we have a big range of options for customers, so they can, even if they have an apartment, in downtown that you have to take an elevator to get up into. They don't have they don't have a garage,
Yep.
or they don't have a patio or whatever. Well, they can still buy some equipment and still train.
Yep.
They may not, they might be limited to what they can do, but or if they have more space, they have a whole room, or they have a garage, they can put in thousands of pounds of weights and they can do a lot more. But doesn't mean that you can't do a lot with like a really, really good multifunctional bench and some dumbbell weights, a kettlebell, a couple
Yep.
of bars, bands, and you can have a pretty fantastic workout actually at home. So,
Yep.
so all that stuff, all those things kind of motivate me to want to like just continue focusing on supporting the home gym community.
Cool.
And because I just personally have always loved training at home better than elsewhere. And I know I'm not unique. A lot of people feel the same way. And there's going to be some people that just say, hey, my scene is to like, I want to go to a CrossFit gym, or I want to
Yep.
go to Gold's Gym, or I want to go to Globo Gym, or whatever it is. And they just like being seen, and that motivates them being out with others. But I think there's probably more people in my situation that feel like, if I can set up my own cool home gym setup, it's a lot better for me.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, one of the first articles I ever wrote was "Is a home gym right for you?" And I had a few people who I've worked with over the years be like, "Well, home gyms are perfect for everyone." I'm like, "Yeah, if you're the guy who goes out in the garage and warms up and then goes, 'Oh, what's that noise?' and you got to go tinker with the sprinkler, and then your wife comes home and you go inside and you talk to her for 45 minutes, and then your kids come home and you got to do this thing and that thing, and 3 hours later you're like, wasn't I trying to do a workout kind of thing?" Like it's probably not the right one for you, right? But otherwise, yeah, I think most people could benefit from having something that they control at home, whether it's going full speed like myself, right? I haven't lifted in a commercial gym for over a decade. Or like you're saying, you could, I've seen even like professional level bodybuilders go, I've got a bench and a set of dumbbells and, one or two other things. I can get in some extra sets on the holidays when the gyms close. I can still get in some type of workout kind of
Yeah.
thing, right? It's their supplemental piece to whatever their main purpose is. And like you're saying, not take up almost any space, right?
Yeah,
So,
the hybrid plan, is what I like to call it, where you have a gym membership, but you also have some stuff at home, and some usually like at a sort of a minimal level. So that way you never have any reason that you can't go train, and you can
yep,
still do some stuff. And so I think that, that kind of supports my business philosophy of like just focusing on home gym equipment, because even some commercial gym um, people who prefer that could also still benefit from having a home gym. So yeah.
yep. Yeah, you mentioned early on, you said your dad had said that there were more people who had home gyms than there were like commercial gyms, right?
Right, right.
That was a interesting conversation that I had with a lot of companies when COVID hit, because a lot of the commercial companies at first were like, "Oh no, we're screwed." And then they realized, okay, well, I can't sell 100 bars to one gym. I can sell one bar to 1,000 people, right?
Yeah.
And while there's certainly a benefit to the, let me ship them all to one place kind of thing at one time, if you're able to get in front of a much, much larger audience and one who continues to buy more and more stuff over and over again, right? It's just a different model, but there's a lot out there. So and like you said, the home gym space 40 years ago, way different than today.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like people didn't exercise back then. So
Oh, totally, for sure. I think there was a higher percentage of people now that want to do exercise, especially strength training, than
yep,
there were 4 years ago. But there always has been that need, and but today, thankfully, we're just one of many awesome companies out
yep,
there making strength equipment you can put in your home gym.
yep,
And back in the say like in the 70s and 80s, there was a lot fewer options.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So the next question, which ties into kind of what you were just talking about, is so why don't you guys don't have, so like some companies want to offer everything. You can buy bar, bench, rack, plates, dumbbells, bands, weighted vests, and medicine balls, and literally everything, right? You could outfit your entire gym from them. You could outfit a commercial gym from them if you wanted to, right? You guys
Yeah.
are a little pickier in terms of what you offer. So I can't get a, let's call it standard power rack. Your benches only are only benches that offer attachments and stuff like that. Um, why?
Well, good question. The reason why, which is a common, we've had other people ask us that too, people that don't know about Ironmaster, or even some of our regular customers, um, who want to buy a more conventional piece of equipment, like a power rack. Um, well, my my thought is that, if we can keep developing products that are unique and proprietary, that have our own, you know, spin on what we think, is really multifunctional, space efficient, um, great feeling piece of equipment, strength equipment to use at home. That's what I want to focus on because I see a lot of other companies in our industry that decide they're going to make a basic flat bench with a 3-inch pad on it, and they're going to put their name on it. And
Yeah,
but there's nothing unique about it. Other companies will just make the same thing, and they think, hey, it's a commodity product. There's a lot of people out there that might want it. Let's just make them. Or you want to sell some rubber hex head dumbbells, and you just try to sell as many of them as possible at a low margin, and it's just a volume thing.
yeah,
Well, I find that to be, um, a little bit boring, and also that it puts us in competition with other companies that are selling the same product, the commodity product, and the only way you can really sell it, and be to compete is you have to kind of like, offer big discounts to compete
yeah,
on price. Or, hopefully your brand reputation, will support a little bit higher price point. But
yeah,
in general, if it's a product that you can buy just about anywhere, the competition is a lot tougher.
yeah,
And so, however, if we make our products like the way we always have, I mean, I should back up and say we do sell some rubber coated Olympic weight plates and an
sure,
Olympic bar, but we don't offer like a range of barbells,
yeah,
like some companies do, and we don't offer traditional squat racks. There's things we don't make, but some things we do make, that are a little bit more of a commodity product. They are specifically to kind of support our flagship products that we already sell.
yeah,
Like we have a machine that's it's a self-spotting machine, looks like a Smith machine, but it's better. But you can also put spotting arms on it and bar hooks, J hooks, and
sure,
you can do Olympic bar training on it. So we
yeah,
said we should sell at least one bar, for
yeah,
people to buy that's Ironmaster
yeah,
designed, branded. So we do some things like that, but it's just limited to help support our core products, right? And so I think that kind of helps us stay focused, and it kind of continually challenges me and our team at Ironmaster to kind of like try to be special
yep,
and try to be, make sure everything you buy from Ironmaster, I think our customers hopefully think, wow, that's an Ironmaster product. It's like there's no question. It's not just like, something that just has a different logo on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, nice. Yeah, the conversation I actually had with a buddy the other day, we were talking about, low cost leader, right? And it's just this game of continually, right, lower and lower and
Yeah.
lower and
Yeah.
lower and lower. And at some point, it's a really, really hard game to win. And we've, I don't know if you've noticed it. I've seen it in the last, basically since I think post-COVID kind of thing. A lot of the companies who kind of played that model have now rebranded and are coming back and trying to say, no, we're not the budget guys, right? That's not, we actually make really good, high quality stuff. And this is how we're gonna show you that we do. And so I think they realize that, hey, now that Walmart is in the strength game and Amazon has their basics and a bunch of these other guys, it's like you're Walmart had a deal on bumpers the other day and it was like 76 cents a pound for,
Right.
and I'm like, No one is beating that. Like it's never gonna happen. And they did it because they can sell 10 billion of them and get their money back, kind of thing, right?
You know, it's like
So,
seeing a Marcy gym
yep,
for sale at Costco, that's like, wow, this thing's like $800 and look
yeah,
at all the things you can do on it. But I mean, it feels janky as hell,
yeah,
but it kind of like, it looks like a lot of equipment, and the bumpers that you get at Walmart, probably won't hold up all that long, but
yep,
that's not their focus. They just want
yep,
to sell.
yep,
Yeah, so the gear that you find, at Walmart or Costco that's really, low priced is they're just trying to do a high volume business out of it. I think that the difference between what you're going to get there when you're going to get at companies like Ironmaster and other quality, strength training equipment companies is you pay a little higher price, premium price point, but you get a premium quality point as well. And I think that, in the long run, a lot of people, especially experienced trainers who've been training for a while, they bought some
yeah,
equipment that they bought that didn't hold up, and they're like, "Oh, the ergonomics of this is crap," or this thing kind of feels wobbly, or whatever it is. You're going to find something that you find lacking,
yep,
in a lot of discount products. It's, you usually get what you pay for, in most cases. And one thing that I know at Ironmaster is we don't compromise on quality. So, and we try to offer competitive prices, but we can't compete with Walmart, and
sure,
we never will. But it's actually fine because we're still really busy and making stuff that we're proud of. So,
yep, yeah. It's interesting when you look at, because it's sometimes it's the harder stuff that you don't fully grasp until you kind of know the back end details of a piece. Like you mentioned the Marcy, all in one kind of thing, right? They come with these weight stacks and it's like, oh, 150 pounds. And most people go, well, I don't lift 150 pounds. That's way more than enough. But then you find out that it's a 2 to 1 or sometimes even a 3 or 4 to 1 ratio, right? And that 150 is actually 75 or 50 pounds, right, on stuff.
right.
And you go, oh, like my daughter who's 7 lifts more than that, right? Like
Yeah.
that's not going to be enough for any adult full-grown male and most adult full-grown females like at all. And so you're going to outgrow that thing in a couple of workouts, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and and that's not even getting into did they use quality pulleys or cabling or like you said, the ergonomics, right?
Yeah. I
Does
was.
doing the leg extensions on that thing hurt your knees because it's such a bad angle? And so,
Yeah.
uh,
I mean, and I don't want to like name any names, but like some equipment out there is actually, kind of unsafe. If you
yeah,
start trying to train it at, serious weight, things are really wobbly and things, metal can fold and like cables can snap and like, it's, I'm not saying that like generally like, weight training is dangerous,
yeah,
but there is some risk, and so
yeah,
you want to make sure that you're not putting yourself at unnecessary risks,
yeah,
by buying, flimsy stuff. So yeah,
yeah,
I think all of us companies that are kind of like, quality, high end, specialty home gym strength companies, we have to level up and um, you know, make sure that our customers realize that for a premium price point, it's worth it.
yep, yeah. You get up over a couple 100 pounds, and you'd probably like to hope that that thing is rated for 2, 3, 4 times that.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
safety
So
factor, yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right, so let's wrap it up. The last question for you is why should people be excited for your upcoming AMA?
Yeah, well, it's been a couple years since we've done that, and you know, honestly, we've been really busy, for the last few years. But luckily, like a lot of companies in our market, there's more people that want to buy home gym equipment than ever. So we've been trying to keep up with that, and that's been taking a lot of our energy and our focus. So, however, we finally had an opportunity like starting in 2024 to start working on developing some new products.
Cool.
Um, and so I can talk about that a little bit more at the upcoming AMA. So I don't want to spill the beans right now, but we are working on some new products. Some of the products are still in R&D stage, but I can mention a couple of things that we're doing without making any promises about what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But you know, and other things they're just basically just getting ready to start production, so those we can
Cool.
talk more about. So I want to share, some stuff about that. Also, I want to talk about we are really busy and our factories and suppliers that we build where we build all of our products overseas. Um, some of them have some capacity limits and we're having trouble scaling with them. So we're making improvements and finding other suppliers, and we're in fact we're building our own factory right now in China to manufacture some products um, that I figured the best thing we can do is we can invest in our own factory so
Yeah.
we can control all of that. We can control the size, we can control the labor, it's not easy, but
Of
but
course.
like having the control that we don't have when we just are trying to work with other factories that make our stuff like most companies do.
Yeah.
So it's for the size of the company that we are, that's kind of a unique thing to do. But like I said before, I like Ironmaster being unique and
Yeah.
different. So that's what we're focusing on making. We can control our quality better that way. So anyway, so there's things like that we're doing that are honestly I'm a little nervous about sometimes, because it's uh it's not easy to run a new small business over there.
Yeah.
Um is and so I have a partner that's working with the local, government to make sure we
Yeah.
have all the right policies and the right licenses and everything that we need
Yeah.
to do. And so yeah, so I just came back from a trip over there like a week ago,
Yeah.
and we were in seeing everything in person and going out and seeing this new place we're building. Offices are being built. We're putting in a new like big powder coating oven to double our capacity there, and we're putting in some new machinery, some CNC lathes and milling machines, all those kind of things I find super fascinating,
Yeah.
because it's like, I've always been involved in manufacturing since we were manufacturing, gosh, like I said, 40 years ago
Yeah.
in California. We were starting to build our stuff there. And that's how I kind of cut my teeth into the business was
Yeah.
I learned how to do all the fabrication work myself. I did all the welding. I learned how to do all the welding anyway, and the machining and the stamping and the punching and the bending of tubes and like, all those kind of things. And
Yeah.
so today, I don't go out to the shop and build anything, unless I'm building prototypes, which I actually still love doing. But when it comes to seeing our stuff manufactured, I like to be there hands-on and see it all done.
Yeah.
So, I just came back and I feel like really pumped about the being able to create a factory that's actually our own, and but other factories that we're working with that are fantastic, they have like, millions and millions of dollars of equipment that can make great products for us. They still, I still have to kind of like, vet them out and make sure that they're building our products to our standards
Yeah.
and that we get the results that we need. And so I do spend a lot of time. I've traveled over to Asia like 3 times in the last 2 months, to try to like, push all this stuff through and try to scale up to what our customers are demanding of us lately. And we've seen a lot of big increase in demand on some of our products. And we're working on diligently trying to like, step up and meet that demand.
Yeah.
But also, developing some new products at the same time. And so it's been keeping me on my toes. But everybody at Ironmaster is pretty excited about some of these new things we're doing. And so I think those are kind of, we're making some little small improvements to some products that are current products. We're not redesigning them, we're just
Yeah.
improving them. And it's a continuous improvement, I think, is one of those things that I really believe in, the Kaizen principle um, that became famous in Toyota manufacturing, just like continuously improve little things here and there. If you find there's an opportunity to use a little bit better grade of fasteners,
Sure.
or there's a way you can like improve the packaging of something, just always working on that. So that's a constant thing we do. But as far as most customers are concerned, most people that are, home gym owners that are curious about Ironmaster, I think they always want to know what's new, what's coming up. And so we, you know, those are, like I said, I don't know how much more I should say now, or I should save it for the AMA, but yeah.
Yeah, you can hold on to it. So save it for the AMA. Let them figure it out. So
All right.
cool. Give me 1 second. Oh, okay. That should be it right there. Oh, double check. Oh, I see now. Sorry. Man. That should be it. So double check, and then I'll be out there in a second. Apparently, my mini split is done. So.
Hey,
Okay, so I'll do a real quick wrap up for us, and then that'll be it. So,
cool.
cool. All right, so that's the AMA warm up with Ironmaster. I will put details in the description for today's video for you to find out more about Ironmaster. So, link to their website, socials, all that good stuff, as well as details on their upcoming AMA. So that way you can come over, chat with Matt and the team, and figure out all the new cool stuff they've got coming your way and they're working on, all that good things. So, that's it for today. Matt, thanks for the chat. Talk soon.
Thanks, Joe.
Bye, everybody.